My lab works on avian breeding biology and avian conservation. I've been a professor at ISU for 20 years now, and am just finishing my 20th graduate student here, and have had such wonderful collaborations. There's more to come. This screen is, I actually have to make an adjustment here. There. So this screen shows some of the truly remarkable animals that we've been able to work on in my lab over the last 20 years. And I think that the right way to present my lab's work is to show you very recently completed and ongoing research right now. This is Dr. Stephen Matthews. He recently completed a Ph.D. at ISU. He is now on a 3-year postdoc with USGS. And what he's doing here is artificially inseminating a female Columbian sharp-tailed grouse as part of our ongoing research on how we can improve restoration methods, in particular, how to get animals into a new location, usually into historic range where they previously were extirpated, and get them to breed while there. Let's see if I can advance this just one. Oh boy. Stephen not only did fascinating on-the-ground field research, but he also produced a highly quantitative PhD where, for example, in this slide, we're using demographic data from the field and demographic modeling to be able to project likelihood of population establishment given certain demographic parameters in the population. So this combines good old-fashioned field work and very sophisticated population modeling. So here's the historic range of greater sage grouse in dark green, and light green shows the historic range. The dark green is the current range, and the yellow circle there represents where we've been working in Nevada for 15 years. But I'm going to focus on 3 projects that are on the edge of the range where the extirpation is happening right now. Let me get to that. So probably you've all heard about terrific fires this summer in California. And what's happening this summer is huge, but the problem has actually been occurring for some period of time. And what we've been able to show in burned regions on the edge of sage grouse range is that female sage grouse make maladaptive behavioral decisions in where they nest. Areas burn and sage grouse persist in trying to nest in areas that went from fabulous habitat, like you see on the left, burned and then converted to essentially gigantic weed patches where sage grouse are very prone to fail. And yet, for behavioral reasons, they persist nesting. So Ian's got this paper in review right now, and I think that it will be a consequential paper. And for those students who are watching, Ian, after completing his master's at ISU, in fact, did complete was hired in a well-paying, benefited private industry job where he gets to practice good conservation principles. There's Ian right there. He was a wonderful person to have in the lab. Mary Meyer-Peter will be defending her thesis in just 2 weeks, and she also has made a discovery that I think will get a substantial attention. And Mary has shown that we can take female sage grouse and translocate the females with their young chicks, and the females, because they have young chicks, don't depart from the translocated area, the restoration area. They stay there, and the chicks survive and can be recruited then into the population, the restoration population, where then they can participate in genetic rescue and numeric rescue. So here's Mary in the Bodie Hills of the border country between Nevada and California. This is might look like desert to you, and it is high cold desert, but this is fabulous habitat for many animals, not just sage grouse. Many of our sites are like this in quite remote areas in Nevada. as well as California. Karina Sanchez is also working on sage grouse, but from a different perspective. Now, I'm very proud actually to say that our lab first identified ravens as an important predator of sage grouse nests almost 2 decades ago now. And this has become an enormous issue in rangeland in the American West within sage grouse range. And we've worked on that substantially and published on it substantially, but Karina, who is still early in her master's degree, is taking it a step further by looking at whether or not we can suppress raven reproduction and aid sage grouse. We're not interested in killing ravens. These are magnificent birds, socially and culturally important, but because they're so adaptable, they are, and their numbers have increased 1,100% in some areas. Their presence is an issue. And what Mary has shown conditionally so far is that if you oil the eggs of ravens, that is, you put oil on them so that the eggs don't hatch, the ravens continue to incubate. You don't kill the adults. They continue to be territorial, but they don't create babies that need to be fed. And I hope you can see my pointer, and she's showing, at least preliminarily, that you can that doing so increases sage grouse reproduction in the area where the egg oiling is occurring. So that's a great example of applied conservation research. Paige Miller is working on a different kind of spectacular bird, trumpeter swans, and this work is being done in a wilderness marsh at Red Rock Lakes National Wildlife Refuge in southwestern Montana. And this is the place where trumpeter swans were rescued from extirpation in the lower 48 states in the early 20th century. Trumpeter swans still nest there. What you're seeing on the upper left is a trumpeter swan nest, a natural and active trumpeter swan nest in this gigantic marsh. And below it is a thermal image of the swan nest. And you see in red the warmest area in that slide. And of course, that's the nest. And we have many reasons to believe that the nest has thermal properties that may be important to trumpeter swans. So Paige is very busy measuring thermal dynamics of trumpeter swan incubation. My lab does not do strictly conservation research. We have real theoretical interests as well. And Jeremy Starkey is close to finishing a project of interest. He would be the 5th graduate student working on addressing an issue about how avian testes really work, both in sperm production and in testosterone production. And I'm hoping that with Jeremy's work, we will finally be able to close the circle and understand the testosterone production underlying the sperm production and male reproductive behavior that we've investigated. So, you know, this is biology, and there's a little bit of a bloody picture down in the middle, bottom middle, because that's how it works. So we're going out throughout the region here in southeastern Idaho and collecting breeding males from species of interest, all done humanely, of course, with animal care permission, of course, and harvesting testes. And we're collaborating, and Jeremy has really become part of the Devlina Pradhan lab, which has been wonderful for me and wonderful for Jeremy. And well, we're hot on the trail. And not everything that the lab does entails birds strictly. So John Dudko, a finishing doctoral student at ISU, who's just embarked on a tenure-track faculty job at a 4-year liberal arts school, is still wrapping up his thesis. And we looked at the effects of human activity on recreational trails in the Mink Creek area just outside of town in the National Forest. And it's just amazing, the spectacular biology that we can do just outside of town. So there's John captured by one of his own trail cams as he's doing field work along one of the trails. And you can see another mountain lion picture there. I've inserted that, but my point is you never know what you might see on these trails. He will be presenting this to the department soon, but really wonderful information on human use during the day and wildlife use at night. Now, this is not a sunset, and this is not a closing for me. This is a picture out of my tent at this wilderness marsh I mentioned at Red Rock Lakes National Wildlife Refuge. My point is this is a sunrise, and there's still lots of work to do. Thank you.